That's a criminal where ready to it. Look at now there. How you have a scope? I know. I'll be a Jama. When the gentleman where the point. There is another solar case for who is the we were there. I go to so look at your last four. I know solar. I got it. And that's so good. Only got so I bring me a move. I don't so I know. I don't so. I'm not from two away. What? Where are you? Why don't I have class go? Show us some. You sound yes, no. What's the so much you're so good? So I bring me a move. Princess.
Here at Mafonso and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for being part of this evening program. And it'll be a little while off this network here, but and that was simply because of our engagement. So we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us here. Let me just adjust this here quickly. Let me just adjust this camera. Just bear with me here, and it will be good. Okay, let's have this here much better, but still, I believe Mose is here. Mose, good to have you here. Just folks, give me a minute. Let me just make a quick adjustment here, and I'm quite sure. I hope my audio is okay as well. But let me just make quick adjustment, and I'll be right back. And perhaps we can give you an interlude of music, or let's put this here, which is also the hallmark of what we are doing. Bear with me, folks. Let's do a little bit quick housekeeping here.
Anything you do for government, that man will not find a phone. That man will not your need on your yeah. Come on, that power, you are not going to come on. What's up? Sweat. I go down, yeah, you're trouble, you're more than that. I am trouble, you're trouble, more than come on, that bicycle, what do you say for your soul? Margarita soul, there could be a quickie, and that yeah, move, that's it. Let's look at me. The man of the whether the idea of trouble, let the one of Kanye, madam, the sponsors, young soul. Come on, look at it. Oh, look at it. What quickly? Oh, what quickly by yourself? You know, don't be a body, I know about the police. The original kind of soul. Almost fair pride, made up down that way. What's that? I'll be out of retirement. They'll get it quickly. Then you come about the door. Cross your letter. Drop was a bit of here. Not right there in the port. I get the boat, yeah. You know, we just
Okay, let's get a program going. Good evening. Welcome. Alfonso Z and Salt of the Lpr-Tv Radio and Lpr-Tv. It's good to be back here. Literally almost a week or more. A lot has been going on in the community, and you know the traditions of this network. We are not just only drawn into this whatever endless political drama that is unfolding, everybody doing their own thing, and they just think it's okay. We also focus on what is happening right on our feet, in our community, in our cities, in our town, and give those who deserve who are making impact into the lives of many people, whether they know them or not. And trust me, I've thought the last week or so, I thought I was a King Kong, but I got knocked off. This one is not even on the water, but over and under the water. A couple of weeks ago, we were in Texas for my niece graduations and the honoring event of our sister, I would say the life wire of the family. Yeah, and that was the song I was playing. I'm going to come with a full text here on Wednesday, but I'm sitting in for the labor here. And right after that event, a court of duty had to fly into Kentucky, where Graduate Association's annual convention was held, where we were being called to duty again to officiate the coronations of the program that was held in Louisville, Kentucky. It was good. It was so wonderful. And those are things that we signed up for. But I want to say good evening to welcome to all our viewers and listeners. My voice was terrible today. I'm happy that it's been resurrected, it's been restored. I don't know whether that's Lpr and his ally on this network that were doing that. I'm not sure, but he himself got hit. Currently, he's in flight, heading back home after 20 days, almost like around the nation. He was in Kentucky, Ohio, back to Philadelphia, back to Ohio this morning, and currently in flight to his home state of Sacramento, that is in California, the Liberal Progressive. So we wish him a safe trip. A lot been ongoing here, so we will keep the conversation. But in the meantime, a week precisely ago, I'm going to come with a full text. So, other sister here, Madame So, in a beautiful red dress. Family, she was honored for her enormous contributions to the family, not just only to the family, to others as well. It was a really big badge, honoring / retirement after serving in this field for over 32 years. The family, the children came together in a unique way. And like I told you, I'm going to come with a full text on Wednesday. And the first is going to be there because the tendency of us giving to recognition when someone is there who they can see what is actually happening, that is it's absurd. And I can tell you this lady, to what she has done. For me to be here, to be running my mouth all over here, Liberia, Rwanda, and wherever it is through her creation. Her three beautiful children, 2 daughters and son, to be in the vanguard, who they were able, kids that were born here, and to receive their uncles, nephews, and nieces, and everybody. That is just amazing. And so the family put together and say, you know what? It is overdue, but it's better than to never. And that is why they're honoring badge / retirement after 32 years in this field working, I supported him. I remember I was in Camp Waterloo, refugee camp. One group, one batch was in Waterloo, another group in La Côte d'Ivoire, others still back in Liberia, other people all over. And she was the only person here. I remember those that were in Sierra Leone, for that matter, in the 90s, in the early stages of the war. We used to go to the telecommunication booth called SLED. The mosquito in that place, sometimes when you place a call, the possibility of even you getting by there is just not possible. Network reception, telephone system was very, very bad. And it was just a nightmare. But this lady never gave up. Anybody who were traveling to Liberia, Africa would take the risk, give money. Or my brothers are in Sierra Leone, some in Cote d'Ivoire, some in Liberia. I mean, we were just like completely helter-skelter all over. You know the story to what happens in the situations of the war. And it's important that we have this sort of conversation and kept us going. Barclays Bank at that time, EMS Banking Tank sent money to UK, then UK fly it to Sierra Leone for some of us who were in Sierra Leone at the time. And at the same time caring for the huge group family, the mom, the dad, the mothers, stepmothers, and other folks were in the Ivory Coast. And it was just too much. And just didn't stop there. And at the end of the day, you know, everything get a good and bad side. Yeah, the war came, that was a bad one, lies, properties, but then the government came up here with what I call a family reunion. She was here. And the old man came ahead. How many can one mother's bring? And she said, no, it was not sufficient. And decided to go and bring the old man. And that kind, all the souls, the SOE you see all over scattered here, from the Minnesota, from the Philadelphia, from Rhode Island, anywhere you see the SOE. I'm not saying SOW, SOE. It's true, the creations of this lady. I believe the children also supported me. And not just only that, for those that were in Ivory Coast, 30 some more persons from Danane, the first batch, to Latino people. I'm wondering whether some of us are going to be here now, because before your pay, they said, then it's literally, it's everything gone. Just imagine a woman doing that to the family without taking into consideration what are some of these people. If I bring them, they will be finding themselves vagabond. Some of them will, when I will speak to me, well, everything will completely ignore. But put God first to say, you know what? Whatever going to be my reward is when the time comes. And there was no pick and choose. We all know in the African culture, especially family, and I want to say that, I mean, it's nothing to hide. That's a huge family. And people from different model, the bad one there, the good one there, but there was no selective process. Everything, all of us, and I'm happy that the old man, yesterday, by the way, was his birthday. For some reason, this crazy land drive people crazy, and I forgot. So my sister post, I said, oh my goodness, yesterday was the old man's birthday. But the bottom line, everybody. Now, one person was left behind. Other people was benefited. First batch, I'm telling you, 32%. departed Danny around 2008. And those are grown men and women, because their father was sending for them, so there was no limit to anything. And imagine from that time to the continuation of the program before it closed. Those people that bring their women that bring their children. So all of them you see here, it is only because of this lady. And so there is a reason to why we should do this. And we will attend. This is just a wonderful image here. And I'm going to be sure.
But I thought so. But you are not there. That man will read up his soul. Right, let's be a move. Take it. No, whatever. The soul family. You are welcome to the party. No more. You are getting no more. What man, that was so. What do you know? What I tell you? There is no. You're going to be in our be so. The father says, that's what I'm doing. I'm out with us. So trouble no down my mouth. That's what you say. Rock up friends. But then I appreciate all. Give all the flower. Why she is alive? God does not request an approval before you bless someone. You know, I know I did that so no you, but no that you project. Emma, that you are Nemo, the other way I say my but no the way I say my but no that my but no that my no yao, no you know I drive I'm blindly bloody, oh my bloody, oh. The father so that you get drop also. I get drop one. You get drop. You the Java in the blue. You the Java in the blue. You mounted. What a mother you mounted. Oh, you tag your po. I'm a man that you. I'm a tag your po. I'm a man in low. You want you weapon away. To what you are weapon, not what you are weapon, drop it, my blood, I get drop out, my blood, I get drop out, my but I also see, oh my God,
this story has to be told, and has to be told loud and clear. These are the souls, the wife on the other side there. All the other brothers from all over. Imagine that, man, gonna be back in there. You're gonna kind of, no, it was not gonna be possible. But we have to say, even we have talked too much of Tabata about that country, no improvement, everybody doing everything they can, but there are people who kept their family. Imagine these 30 plus. If we are added to the numbers already in Liberia, then in addition to the other group that brought their people, imagine how it was being like. And there are many other families. You have your own story. I'm just telling my piece of story, where we came from to get us to be where we are. And so, and like I said, the full text is going to come on to Wednesday, but I just since the program, I'm still going through a recovery, and it was great. Friends, family, white people, the ocean state of Rhode Island. It was glamorous. It was beautiful. You can see the image that and those who follow us, and that's the good thing. So we want to say again, so we are very, very deeply harmed. It was not an easy one to maintain over 30 some more percent in exile, even before going And that's just not even one person. I can't even remember how many bag of rice used to go even in a week. And I ate before they came. And the second group, so forth, so on. People picking up from Ghana, other places, and they became a blessings and other people. So it's a worth a story to tell. And we are very, very grateful. And we're seeing how big the family has become. People marry, making babies, making babies, and all of that. It's through the creations of one person. So, and that's how society prospers. So it's not just only the government alone. And now all of these people here, directly, indirectly, still contributing to the economic growth of the country by sending money, whether to family, whether to friends, whether to other people. That's exactly why it is. And so at this time, we want to say thank you so much to our lovely sister, what you did for us. Yes. See the people out there. That's just a little image there. Co-workers, managers, someone who work with the Rhode Island's hospital. That's so nice. And to get us to be where we are, it's just great. I wish the old people that were around, but God knows the reason. I think she did what she's supposed to do. So we just want to thank God. And for those of you who have not done that, who you are cracking can, you were barefooted, traveling from forest to forest, tend to a fisherman, hunter. And I'm not saying being a hunter or fisherman is a bad thing, but in Liberia, it's a little hell on earth. And you know that your sister or your mom or somebody got you here, and by by the grace of God, that person is still alive. You better be grateful, you better be thankful. And start acting up and give that flower, give that recognition. It's better late than never. Imagine you were in that. What did they say broke by again in Liberia? It came from Sierra Leone, but people know. So imagine the danger. How? Think about the war situations. Think about people that if you ever meet them, what would have happened to some of us? Even if we went through hell, went to bring Johnson Bay, sing what kind of song, turn to some sort of mass choir, whatever it is. But I think God preserved us for some specific reason. And as God may have it, despite a sort of huge family, yes, we got inflicted with something, but by the grace of God, we all managed to cross over. And she get us to be where we are. So we must acknowledge that. I want to say thank you in this public forum, and very supportive of what we do. And I think it's a story worth telling. If you hear the SOE from any part of this country, it is this woman and the children's support. It was in the case, that I'm a milestone here. No, that I'm the one here. He said, everybody come, whatever you want to be, you come, whatever you want to do, you will talk your own case, you will talk your own drum. And that's exactly what it is. So the reason you are not seeing me on here, we were celebrating her. We celebrated until I over-celebrated, which of course I have the right to do. And granted that people took me to Kentucky again. And that's part of it. What we just want to say is we are humble, we are blessed to be where we are, and it is through her grace. We have talked a lot about Liberia, so why now we go into individual family life success stories? People have interesting stories. We need to be telling these stories. I think the people are in our country there, everybody now who I get this side will be there. When you carry this one, what they are doing now is damage control. They are the one explaining now. They're the one telling you now, I'm disappointed, I'm disappointed, because they never ask questions. So they're having the headache now. And that's what some of us saw from the beginning. Say, you know what? It doesn't matter. These people, all of them, going to be the same thing, experience or inexperience. It's a culture. A culture is something that is very difficult to undo because people so much used to it. People do not want to undo a system that is not working because when you try to do that, you become a target, you become an enemy. They will define you. They will kind of like they see you as someone that is against the system. So what is happening for some of us is not strange. We saw this coming. It was a sort of prediction. You know, when we get there, we'll do this, we'll do that. But guess what? The government is such a sort of society. It's such a society. And that's an easier way to good wealth in Africa, especially. You want to get rich, quick money, fast money. Nobody gonna ask you. Nothing gonna happen to you. Whatever government can, whatever they told you, they're gonna prosecute people. They're gonna put people in jail. Nothing gonna happen, because the reason they can't do that is they know at some point in time it doesn't matter how long they stay, they will leave. And so when they leave, they do not want the repercussion. They do not want some sort of flashback or something to come back to them that people are gonna hold it. So they will lie to you. Look in the eyes of the camera broad day. When we come, the people that did this, the people that did that, will prosecute them. People will go to jail. And this, you remember, it happens in the past governments. The CDC, United Party, well, they are the other people. Remember, the Molu was saying that Helen Johnson Sirleaf were going to be behind the rusty nail, that is the bars, were going to be behind bar rusty iron. Is she there today? What did we hear from Joseph Boyka when we're coming? People did money and people are going to be prosecuted. The same thing that used to. It's just the culture. These people, all young, they lie, and it is sad that their supporters stay and defend these people. They are all shameless, but they do not have the guts. So all what they're doing now is being politically correct, giving justifications of the actions of their political goddess. Let me bring this man from Joe Biden's state of Delaware. They don't want to tell people your vote. Everything will be okay. The old man will do this. The old man will do that.
How you doing, sir? Good evening.
I'm okay. How are you, Mr. Yeah, good to have you. Again, my condolences. I think you came in my state when I was out too, and then now we're having an event for our sisters. It was just a sort of crazy week, but again, condolences too for the loss of. I mean, was I a cousin or who's the lady that passed it last time?
My niece.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that was my first job and first attempt to take care of a child when she was born. I babysat her.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I was talking to Becky, you know, sometimes the names, you know, the face bring into, you know, reflections of who the person's actually. I didn't know. I know her. I knew her very well. Smart
Yep.
lady, orator, I mean, good public speaker who was heavily engaged into the mobilizations of, I believe, the Ebola. Was that Ebola or one of the mobilized people here? When I saw the picture, I said, "Oh my goodness, this the lady." I didn't know that at all, but yeah.
She was a vibrant person. She even ran for the 50th.
Yeah.
Then we came down.
Yeah, just right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's good to have you. I've been away. You've been having your great time with your liberal, giving all of the excuses, finding moving all of the goalposts from one county to another county. This other keeper is not a good keeper. In fact, the keeper sold again to Grand Bassa, to Maryland, to Sino. Here we are. The March commissioner was brown when he landed at Rawafi. They took him to, I don't know what they call Bele Casa or whatever Casa Bele. Where other representative, there are other hotels they were in. look, what really wrong with that country? What's going on? What's
Well,
wrong with the country? Do we need to put that country to? I think the country it needs to go on the how they call it, trusteeship.
stewards.
Yeah, if I had my own way, I wish I could have that sort of ultimate vote. That's what I would do because it's just I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, brother. So it's
Why
tough.
make it tough? Why make it tough?
It's very tough because the mentality.
Why? Huh?
Yeah, what I'm trying to tell you, the mentality of the people. See, corruption has become a way of life and a culture in that country. And the last time on the show, I kind of made a comment about, even the young people are corrupt. Even the little children on the street are corrupt. At home, they are corrupt. If you give a little child $10 to go buy something, that child is either making their own price and bringing you change that is totally
Why
not
is the child doing that?
because
Let's,
this
let's,
kid,
let's trace the root cause.
listen
Because
now,
what you are trying to do, you are
trying to
trying to
tell
bang. You are hold on one second. I bang out of here. You and your laborer, your folks will be having your next
I,
time, beautiful time, and what?
well, just so you know, I have not been on the show for at least a week and a half. It's just been one
Now
product.
he's removing himself from the crown scene now because he
Yeah.
knows I'm gonna pin him down. So he's removing himself. But you've been there
No, no,
before.
no, 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 Mr. Soar. Yeah, the fact is that over the last 2 weeks, it's just been death in the family. I
Right.
had three funerals in a row, three in the last 3 weeks. I had one this past Friday, as a matter of fact. The body was taken on Saturday morning to Liberia for burial this weekend. So I've been very, very busy and I've been out of the shore away from you guys. And so in the last 3 weeks, I don't think
I mean, with the current David and his man liberal were all around the nation. They were on your
yeah,
Tabata and
they
all
were,
of that. So I,
and,
I just been monitoring them too.
you should be
Yeah.
monitoring it. Good CEO, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. So
Yeah, but let me tell you something. The thing, you know what really blew my mind today when I read on Front Page Africa about illegal people with illegal with no documentations, no leadership, mining in Liberia, and that they've shut down a mining company, and they've gone out and instructed all the other companies, Chinese companies, to provide their paperwork. How possible is that? And then they're saying that the former minister, I think his name is Goa, someone apparently have been compromised, and last year I think he was being accused of corruption and embezzling millions of dollars because he made deals with these people not under the government. It is amazing how these things happen, and no one asks questions. No one asks questions about companies coming into their country and just exploit, just you know,
how they got there?
how did they
So,
get in? That's the
somebody
question.
how they got there? They
How
didn't.
did
They
they get
didn't
in?
drop. They didn't emerge from underground. They didn't.
Well,
Uh, uh,
tell it,
uh,
and they alleged that this guy who used to be the minister of mining of the mine, and he squandered money. He signed some of those contracts. Also, I don't know how you would bring a company and the minister of justice is not a part of that contractual agreement. And we were having the same conversation the other day that if the superintendents are elected, they will have to be at the table. But because they're appointed, they either come from on top and they follow. A company just walked in. But if they are elected by the people, they will seek the people's interest. Since that where his Loma had to do. Look at that.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't even know what he wants. He got behind Zan
That thing,
Zakawa. He
that,
made
let me
sure
tell you,
Zan Zakawa is dead and
that
gone.
thing that's the got that powerful thing of account there. When you wear that hat and you hold that thing.
They have, okay, that will give it a house somewhere from some
You see,
kind of.
when certain people hold certain thing, a powerful.
It's powerful.
That funny thing, other people holding. When Loma hold a thing, yeah. You
That
see,
serious business coming up, bro.
Don't make me to get mine because that meant anything that oversized that they're not correcting that fake
my
Oh
man,
my God,
that
sis.
man,
pure
when you
one,
get one team, I get
Sis,
my
that,
where you coming from with that kind of thing, sis?
I'm coming for Zozo district Tuesday. You see, I've been silent a few days.
Oh my God. Oh my God. My goodness. My
don't go
goodness.
with
Oh,
that. Don't go
oh.
with
You just killed the whole conversation just now.
yeah. Money,
No,
fame,
but brother Sword, as I was saying, it's amazing how these things happen. And if we were electing our superintendents, they will seek the interest of the constituents. So they will sit at the table before any company goes into any county. Those superintendents will have to be at that table. But I don't know how contracts are signed, excluding the Minister of Justice, who's supposed to make sure that no part of the Constitution is
but
violated.
how sure are we that the Ministry of Justice now also they didn't
Well, these
participate
people
in
don't have no
the
document. These people have no document. They just go and open a company.
it doesn't mean the Ministry of Justice was in there. So the question now becomes
Well, then our investigation
yeah,
need to.
yeah, because you're
No,
taking the
I,
one side.
I
I want to bring this in here because what I'm saying here, look, it's a
it's alleged that they're illegal.
huh?
It's alleged that these are illegal companies.
Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever legs they want to pull on it here, let's take it. But what I'm saying, how long these people have been mining in the region? So why? I mean, nobody asks questions, no inspection, no inspectors, nobody goes in the field to see how these people because in mining that's a rich industry there. So what was the revenue coming into government, or is
But
it the
brother,
same people who go there and
those
say, okay,
questions.
what's supposed to go to government revenue? It goes into their pocket.
In fact, listen,
Blah,
the
blah, blah.
questions you have are the same questions I think everyone has. So, I mean, we cannot no one knows how this thing happened. So I hope they do their due diligence now that they're trying to do their due diligence by shutting these companies down and challenging them to provide documentation.
I don't know. That you want to die a premature death. Okay,
I
sister,
hope
good
not.
evening. What's
I
up?
hope not. I hope not.
Mr. Goya, good to have you here.
How you doing, Mr. So? Hey, my brother Moses.
How you
I
doing?
didn't know you were bereaved, but I heard I heard in the intro that you were. So my deepest condolences to you and the family.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
So I will ask this sort of question here, and then we will open the line. What do we need to do in our country? What do we want? What do we represent as a people, as a nation? Not just only the government, all right? Because these people that operate in a community, in the regions, in the place. So I don't understand.
You asked the question, what do we have to do? We have to get away from the 24 hours news cycle. You can't operate a government like we do the 24 hours news cycle where it's almost like we have attention deficit disorder as a government, as a people. You're trying to fix it. Say, oh, roll on this side. You drive it, you run it. Oh, no, you drive it, you go on the other side. We have to fix something, work on it, and see it to its logical conclusion. But we can't do that, Mr. So. What was the newest thing again? A few days, something new. Papa will forget about the whole thing again.
Exactly.
Wait. Let me go back to something. Remember, the census were preliminary data.
Yeah.
We let that one say election finish.
Yeah.
They were preliminary. But so we go on by one business.
We're definitely between preliminary census data and now. How many things that can and pass? People not doing what day by day. Oh, we're feeling with it now. Right? We joke around sometimes, but we are not living in the pre-PRC era where information was restricted and it was difficult to find because there were PROs living in a community that was spying on people.
Yep.
Right? We've gotten to a stage now where everybody with a smartphone is a citizen journalist, and they can bring things to the attention of the government. So we can no longer say that the government does not have to be everywhere to know everything, because people put it right in your face. What we have failed to do, and I don't think this is unique to Liberia, but because I'm Liberian, I'm going to talk about it, is we have failed to see anything to a logical conclusion. Regardless of which side you stand on, which side of things you sit on. Gloria Musu-Scott's case, has that been to a logical conclusion?
No.
So we abandon and we move on. The next election, we had an election to fill the seat of Senator Prince Johnson on the preliminary census data. We are writing. We are signing. What's the thing? Budgets, national budgets.
Resolution.
My brother Moses, you know this, that you use the census data in the crafting of your budget.
Correct.
We look at how our population has grown in certain sectors.
Yep.
Where do we need to have more security? Because as population grows, it comes with a lot of things. One of my mates say when you open the window, when you're hot, you live in the swamp. You open the window for the cold air to come in, mosquito can with it. So as population grows, a lot of things comes with it.
Absolutely.
One of those is crime and security. Another one is education. Another one is healthcare. As population grows, you got to build more. You have to give more access to education. You have to bring in more police, more security to secure the population. So where those parts that we have seen population growth, we were supposed to, in our budget, target those places. Amen. But if we're only dealing with preliminary data and we're using that to craft national policies, where are we going? And I hate to say it's not just this government, it's been happening forever, but we all said that we could not continue to allow the same thing to happen. Yes, we get it. Change is slow. When you work in a bureaucracy, I work in a bureaucracy. When you have to, I joke with people in my bureaucracy. When I read a letter, there are people in charge of only reading vowels. The other people, I can only see consonants, and the other people, I can only see punctuation mark, and there's nobody that can read the entire letter.
No.
And so those changes are difficult to come by, but amen, the low-hanging fruits. Why are we as a nation so quick to abandon? We have ADHD. I guarantee you, tomorrow, something else will come on, so they told on to not here again next week.
Yep.
Something profound happens today at work. I mean, it's typical. I mean, that's part of the people. That's why they have an organized system. It doesn't matter whether you're a janitor, right? The people that come down to you to talk to you because they feel you are the hands-on person, you in the field, you close to the people and all of that, and they can better hear from you than even the senior directors and all of that. All of a sudden today, I'm saying this to say to what Mr. Goya was saying, our inability to conclude, to be comprehensive when we see that there's a problem here. We're just good at managing. We go at creating crisis, but we can't even manage it. So all of a sudden today, when I look, what they call HR, they get all kinds of BB type to senior HR is almost like the executive vice president for the company. That is very unusual because the 5% out there, all we see email, they're coming in, you respond. I'll go look today, they just wrote, the guy just wrote in. Oh, I'm so here. I'm here to talk to you. I want to know what's going on here.
Hmm.
Yes. So, yeah, I would just want to get a sense, how can we, where are we falling short, what we need to do. And Mayu came, my senior director, two of my senior directors, they were nowhere around. We want to talk to you because you here in charge.
And
Whatever we talk here
yep,
is confidential and
yep.
will be treated as such. I said, oh, but then you know, I mean, you not mean a real, you not mean a real Brazil, anything that you want, yeah, you were here then today.
Yep.
But what I'm saying here is they go out there. I'm not sure whether our people they do these things here to
Uh,
follow through on things, to go down. And, people want to just sit up there and just make decisions and determine the fate of the people, all of that. When will we come to this point where you see the Minister of Education, the Minister of Health will go down there to the remote clinic to see for his or herself the desperation, how desperately things are needed. But what they do, they travel in huge, big convoys, host these big, fabulous, endless press conferences, no results, nothing, no agenda, no resolution, nothing come forward to solve this problem. But we come back and talk the same thing over and over and over, and we expect something magical to fall from the sky.
Brother Thor, when we talk about people taking on administrative duties, there's training that you go through to understand how things evolved. What is it that needs to be put in place when you do your performance evaluation or your assessment, and who to go to? Now, do you think the any institution of government in our country has done any performance review? Do you think that they've had a targeted goal and they went back and reevaluated where they started, where they are, or they have a plan for short term, mid term, and long term plan? Those things sometimes they stated verbally and put on paper, but has anyone followed through on it? The example you just gave about your senior vice president coming down, there must have been something company he probably knew, or he probably looking to advance the company further than what it is. And the
And
best people,
that's the
best,
words. Just to get it out of it. That's exactly what he said. He said, I'm not going to be like one of those.
exactly.
I don't care whatever my whoever here, what they did, what they didn't do. But for me, my team will not be the office type. We
There
will
you
be all out there in the field.
because if you want to advance any project, you have to go down to the people in the front line, get their imports. They are the one in the front line that are exercising and representing the company. If they don't represent the company appropriately, it affects you on the top, no matter what resources you have, and what connections you have, because the people in the front line are the one who doing the dirty work for you. And by gathering information from there, it will give you a sense of direction of where you need to go. Simple. So our people, I'm not sure. You see, we got and the word in Labrador is that if the qualified are not available, the available becomes qualified. Why is it that some of our seriously? I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. And so once the unqualified becomes available and they take over, they don't want to qualify in. So it becomes a court. They do everything to keep your guys out. How do you go? The administration goes and have a retreat. They get out of there. They have all these things we talked about. and they're still following through.
So I don't even
So
understand.
why
That's
you spending money on retreat?
classical way of eating money. Leave retreats and things
Exactly.
here and there.
Why you having retreat when you're supposed to have consistent communication, consistent gathering, consistent briefing from the people that you appointed to the position? Why have a retreat? Then the administration, the executive have the retreat. I was there at the time. Right after that, the legislator said,
All right, I mean, do you know to Barak Kase or Kase Bere Hotel?
yeah.
You are part of that?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I beg you. Where you coming from? I was there when the administration went to Buchanan and had the retreat. Right after that, the legislature kind of said, we want to have retreat too. So we asking for so much money. Are you kidding me? You can't be serious. And if you ask them all the retreat they've had, they come up with position statement and documentation. You know, what's the short term, long term? Now, have you gone back? Have you given a timeline and went back and evaluated where you were and where you are today? Just what big steps you've made?
So
So, my brother, it's becoming more and more comical for the folks out there to understand. And these are things, that's why I told someone years ago that we actually do not have public administrators in our country.
I don't know. Maybe I may be
Public
different. I'm thinking, Sissy. Okay, having there and doing the thing and not doing it. So then, of course, it's like, yeah, none. But what I've noticed that every now and then you hear in Liberia now, like in the 80s, everywhere now, HR. Okay, that's a very big and huge department that its functionary so might vary with different things coming to check people performance and I see evaluations and see where you're falling short. So Ceci, let me ask you, maybe you people are the you hang out with a lawyer, tier one, even though it's not in government now, but you talk to people, you have a lot of friends there. Is your HR different from the HR here, or they just carry the same name and they have different? Because the reason I'm asking that with all of these retreats stuff, but interestingly, most of these people too, they got yeah, whatever education here, or is it the culture, or is it because it's Liberia? How? I mean, it's just I don't understand.
It's in Liberia's capital, it's small R. The human part bigger, we so small. Look.
Oh my!
The man asked, I got an answer there.
I know, right?
The human being, we so small. But look, let me say this, okay? Our problem is not that we don't have the human resource capacity to do what we need to do. It's are we willing to see the people that are capable? I heard that before. My brother Moses, our inlet brother, said anything when they capable is not available, they're available, but they're capable right here.
I know.
They don't see that
Mm-hmm.
because they differ with you in policies and they will push back on you. Let us talk to Mr. So. Who in your mind will ever be president and bro and appoint somebody that still gotta go over there? You're not going to say your mom, right? Because we will always constantly have there will be pushback. But I'm saying this to say that our issue is that we keep putting people in places of leadership that requires experience that have never practiced.
There you go.
We respect the degree so much so that we fail to look for practice. What benefit is a lawyer who has never been in a courtroom but has a law degree?
Exactly.
What benefit? I'm coming out to my own view. It's a teacher, it's an educator who has a PhD in education but has never been in a classroom. What benefit is that person to you? To make them minister or make them director? Doesn't happen. You put somebody there that's never practiced, that wouldn't have the degree. I'm not trying to discount somebody's degree. We all got our papers hanging on our walls here that the white man said we know something, but you have to practice. If you have not practiced in any advanced society, you are not an expert. You can have all of the degrees without practice. You are not an expert. But when our people leave the diaspora, whether it's China or wherever, or Malta, America, and they go back with a paper, we hire them to positions that they've never practiced. I know people who were trying to be educators, doing PhDs and working at Sam's Club as cashiers. And you graduate with a PhD in education, but your only practice has been as customer service at Sam's Club. Not disrespect at Sam's Club, but how does that inform you becoming a leader in education? All you do would be to theorize. So you asked the question about the H and the R when I was joking, but our problem is not that we don't have people who have the degrees or that we don't have people who've practiced. It's that the powers that be usually don't want to see the people who've practiced, because people who have practiced are able to have to look at both the learned experience and the lived experience and look at the intersection of those and say, yeah, the people say this, but this does not fly here, does not fly here. If you don't have those people, Mr. So, that is why we end up with, we copy people's thing and we paste it in Lpr without our cultural context, because we got people who have not practiced.
Yeah.
And so they think anything that works in New York will work in Southern Lofa County.
Yeah.
Until they carry it to Southern Lofa County.
A part of that, I just so into a little here, it comes to this: no evaluation, no assessment, no sort of work being done to say, okay, 2 years ago or 1 year ago, this is what we studied. As a result of this, we fell below the belt because we're lacking this. And so that study will sort of set a stage to kind of like advance, to improve, to sort of standardize the system. That is not even happening either.
Progress monitoring, program evaluation.
Exactly.
My brother Moses spoke about the retreats. I'm following those. In fact, just today I was in a retreat, I was in a director's retreat. But we look at program evaluation, we're looking at programs.
Correct.
And we're looking at where we started, where we said we're going to be, where are we right now? We are progress monitoring. What has been working well? What do we need to accelerate? What do we need to abandon for now? And what do we need to make sure that we're putting fewer emphasis on? So all of the legislative retreats that have been here, it's wonderful to have a legislative retreat. It's wonderful to have a cabinet retreat. But you have to have your SMART goals, and the people that are carrying out those retreats need to be able to come back when you reconvene, folks. You're not starting all over on something new. You're looking at how are we progress monitoring the goals that we set forth. But we don't do progress monitoring. The next legislature that come in, they have their own goals and everything set up. We recklessly abandon all the other things without what were the lessons learned. And I think that is where my brother Moses was coming from when he said these are waste of public dollars. And they are waste of public dollars because we're not effectively using the process the way it's meant to be used. When we spy in that, bro, when we spy page 1, we don't wait to the end of the page. That's the reason we got to flare that low song away, we got a constitution that we don't understand, all the other things. Because we
got a whole spy and go take somebody nearby.
One of my pickings spy my class, man, told my answer key, wrote down my grocery list and but on a serious note, I think what Moses was getting to makes a lot of point. People go on retreats not because they want to go learn something, but because of the padam.
So the bottom line, and this is why you guys have said things gonna fall apart here, say President, yes. So no. these people, they have their own hair supervisors, right?
God.
Somebody got to also review their performances and that. Huh? What happened, Moses? Why
No,
we've been having a good conversation now? Why are you
yeah,
trying?
go deeper into things that these people have no clue about. You talk about
No, we can't say that. They do. Their actions, they are deliberate in their action. There's a reason why they don't want to do those things. And that is very much important because except there's no, I mean, at least some kind of offer you go there, some kind of computer gotta be there. Whether it get good story, whether they can keep something, okay, that's a different thing here. But they must be able to have a system because if you can't look at yesterday work, your work yesterday as to whether it meets the standard, it meets the requirement, is that what the policy, the regulations, and that's why it says, based on the evaluation, and then they come in the next year, or you're just going for a retreat, you can't even give a flashback of what you think where the focus should be. Well, this time around, maybe the personnel section or this other section didn't do anything. They're not even sending us citation. They're not even calling supervisor. Nobody doing anything to. If they're not doing that, then what is the essence of the retreat? Just to go and drink club beer, have fun time, and just ration monies among themselves? Probably then, I mean, that's the only thing I count on top of my head.
But so let's be fair though. You have an HR and you have all of these staffers. When Kofa recently had his whatever, remember Alamo, forget it, burning down the place thing, and they were not paying him, they stopped paying his staffers too. And so when the legislature changed, when folks leave, the people who are supposed to be institutional employees, the people who are the holder of institutional knowledge, who regardless of who wins an election or not stays, those are the people that are supposed to set the long-term goal. They set the smart goals. They are the one to check, to progress monitor. But in Liberia, do those people really have the authority to set goals that they can progress monitor beyond just one legislature? Do they really have the authority? And I think that's what the problem is. We set up systems. We are so good at writing laws in Liberia. Liberia does not lack for laws. We lack for understanding the laws and the enforcement of the laws. We have all of these structures, Mr. So it is not lacking, but we don't give those people authority. You imagine somebody coming there, Speaker Kun right now, oh, Speaker, I new thing I want to do that. We've been focusing, here's our 10-year plan. We progress monitoring from the time you are not Speaker, but this was the thing. The other Speaker decided this is what we went with. You're not getting paid right after that. So the problem that we have is a systemic problem, Mr. So, and I think we all enable it when we just jump from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. We don't hold nobody accountable. The other day I was on the show talking about the fact that we are in a constitutional crisis right now. The Supreme Court, by his ruling, and Speaker Kun by his resigning and going back to get re-elected, just crystallizes to us that he recognizes that he was not Speaker before now. The budget was passed before now.
Yeah.
We are spending Liberian people money that was approved by somebody who has told you I was not Speaker when I signed it. It's like S. Baranta signing the bank note during Sawyer administration when Sawyer hoped that he would have been confirmed by finance minister. He didn't get confirmed. They didn't take the money back from the market. We still continue using the bank note that S. Baranta signed as finance minister. It's what we're in right now. But who's talking about it? It's kumbaya, we're done. We're operating on a budget that was signed by a speaker who has told you that I was not Speaker. Right? We're gone. We moved on.
Let me just add a little piece to this. What I see in my own estimation, is that there was no continuation from one administration to the other. None whatsoever. Because everybody coming into position in Liberia think that they need to bring their own system. And so that's why we fail every time. Now, when we talk about, you got to understand, when you have a retreat, there are people who go and do post, pre, and post on the issue that's going to be discussed to be able to do a presentation. And there are certain topics that you guys need to look at to resolve. Now, when you're doing that, I have the opportunity to work, and part of my duties of the work I did in the past, some 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, is to evaluate crime prevention initiatives to determine whether they were evidence-based. And every time I did that and I qualified a crime prevention initiative as evidence-based, what happened is that that initiative was introduced with RFPs. Because here goes the practice. This is part of a best practice. Because the evaluation includes 4 important parts. What the problem is, what the cause of the problem, what you're going to do to address the problem, you implement what you're going to do, and you measure results of what you've done over a period of time. With those 5 important steps, we determine whether they're evidence-based or not. You see, so these are things that you have at retreats so that people can understand. When you go in there, and it's like training people all over. And we're lacking these things because, again, hey, like Sissy said, you get people who don't know the practical or the experience, and they get up and take over positions. So it's sad that we're going backwards.
They get over, they get and take over positions. They were placed in those positions. So why were you saying they didn't just grab those positions by themselves?
Well, the thing about that, I understand that, but again, the vetting process determined what. That was some of us. We made some remarks, and today it's hunting us.
What was the remark you made?
The remark is that we want to be employed based on our experience and our qualification, and not based on who know you, so that you can be compromised.
So tell us what happened behind this black curtain that we don't know. Some true things coming out here. So that was
you want right in our problem.
We're not going there today, so you know.
No, I'm not going to repeat it. I don't want to be with this.
I'm not going to repeat on the show because you got every information that you're asking me about right now.
No.
You have it with you. I'm not going to discuss it with you because you know what I'm talking about.
You see, this is what these guys do.
For full disclosure, I said, give me money, didn't get money, so how many guys did?
Who are you going to talk money, Benny? Because next day you're going to wake up on Facebook to go start dancing with it.
I know.
But, I don't know.
But so, brother, so you know, man. You know, some of us, listen, one of the things I want to say here is this. We that have practiced, that have worked in our area and have the experiences, we should be looked at as assets and not liability coming home. We are serious. Listen, there are a lot of people that are educated, that have worked in their area, that can go there and not be a liability. And that's the difference. That's the difference. And for some reason, people think that, those that are coming from the diaspora, I'm going to come. and be a liability in the government and say, you know, oh, they now messed up their lives in the diaspora. They're coming here now looking for positions so they can live the life they used to live back there.
No, but the funny thing here is,
You know?
I mean, lately, all of these governments being in and out, their financial strength is more or less from the diaspora.
Of
You see,
course.
and that's what I say. I'm not going to be used I don't want to be used as a scapegoat. When they want it, then they will be so submissive. You will walk on your belly, they will lay down your walk. But as soon as they get it, you go Liberia and that's it. I mean, how long you here to stay? Because when they start asking you that question now, insecurity comes into play.
Yeah.
And they want to get it at the end of the day. But the other version too, other people from the diaspora, let's be honest, they're talking so. Other people from the diaspora here, they were also incorporated. They were brought in based on their expertise. And they as horrible as people that were there. So now, who do we...
do you think that they went with certain expertise?
Let me see here. Just be careful here. Let us know what are somebody coming to participate. Hello? Are you calling on the show? Okay. Hold on one second. Let me just see. Hello, are you there?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good to have you. Let's hear you.
It's nice. So I don't think both of you, everyone in CRT is the point. But yeah, so some of the frustration is a lot of the guys that left from Western country that went to Liberia was a disappointment to the Liberian people, because you expect them to change the system, and they was one of the most corrupt people that went in the system. So it was all about them getting what they could get and come back to their Western countries that they came from. Because and the guys that in Liberia too, they are threatened by us that live overseas, wanting a job, and we'll put it out of job. But during any time, most of the put any higher if they have done a good job, improve the system or make the system to work. Some of this issue will not be working. But we pour around the whole country. Like right now, the system is qualified. He's a good educator, but nobody put a high into Ministry of Health education to go.
You mentioned Mayflower. You mentioned Mayflower too much.
But that's what we need. That's the only way you can change the system. Because if poor get so used to yes sir, again, look at what the president said today. When you talk about hardship, like in the country, he said everybody enjoying the country is beautiful, the country is good. Some ministers may do a good job, but not everybody doing a fabulous job. And you would have made that a broad statement. And there's nobody going to check it and say, "Oh,
why is this president making?" I don't understand. Sensei, let me ask you, that your countryman here. I know maybe let me go a little bit contrary. Who is a speechwriter?
I don't know, but I think. Let me say something.
Because and the reason, I mean, I just kind of joking. Because the reason, and not just only him.
No, but it's his handlers. His handlers. Yeah. Who are his handlers? That's a legitimate question I asked Mr. So. Here is the thing.
How long can we continue to blame these handlers?
Mr. So, in my small role at Minneapolis Public School, okay, so tomorrow I'm presenting in front of the school board. I have people who report to me. I'm over all K-12. I'm over 90 schools. I can go to all 90 of those schools. I got people who report to me that are in those places. I'm asking them to give me talking points on what they're working on, things they're working on, our strategies, everything, what they're doing, what's the input. I'm getting it from them. I'm going to talk about it. I am not expected to know everything happening in every single building, but I'm expected to know what the focus is, what the vision is that we're driving, that I'm leading my team to do.
Right.
I'm saying this to say that the president at that level gets talking points from defense, from justice, from education, from health, from everywhere, gets funneled through to the office of the president.
Right.
In America, you have the chief of staff. That's the person that sifts all of that things, take the trash out of it, blah, 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 vet the information before it goes to the president. That vetting is not happening. And this is where I'm coming to that. This is where I said practice plus education. If you have people who've never worked in a political institution, who've never led an entity, who've never written a talking point or had talking points written for them, they don't know how to vet information. You take somebody that graduated university with PhDs, but never ever presented anything anywhere before. I've never had to take people below them to write talking points for them, to handle them. And they've never handled other people to write talking points for them. It becomes very difficult for them to vet anything. And so they give the president anything for the president to say, and most of those things come out tone deaf. If you have somebody who has worked in a political institution before, who have been used to vetting things, they will tell you, Mr. President, you can find a different way to say that the economy is improving, that people's lives are getting better without saying people are enjoying. To say people are enjoying it is a bad word, the enjoying part. You can find ways to stay, but that comes with training. It comes with practice, Mr. Saul. But if you are picking people from the diaspora simply because they are yes men and yes sirs to you, and yes women to you, and they will not challenge your authority because they've never practiced, then yeah, on the one hand, you get a bunch of foot soldiers that can go on Facebook and cause cause anytime you release them. But on the other hand, you have a bunch of people that cannot defend, that cannot give you anything that you can rely on intellectually. And so I think they've decided to go with the one part where people can cause cause our ghetto people then versus the people that give me the right thing. And so you find out what happens is the president in every nation is depends on his or her handlers. It depends on your chief of staff to sift a lot of those information and give it to you. We're not having that in Liberia.
Let me just add this.
Let me just take the call quick, Most, and I'll come to you as we're about to run out. Clarence Davis.
Hey, Mr. Sir, how you doing?
Good to have you. How are you? You and your guys, you've been talking your tabata. Yeah, the liberal told me that he could not for you, and you're the one who was doing whatever for me to get saved. But I'm back. You're getting to D-Way. Good evening. What's up?
I see why the liberal is on the show tonight.
The man run away. The man know I come in. You can't show face. You can't show face.
I think for the show tonight, I think the talking point that you bring on is a very good one. But the point I want to make in the talking point tonight is we know full well that there are some error and we know that there are something that are not going right. But if we look at those that are working person in Liberia, that the minister, the director, and things to say that many of them are not qualified, I don't think would be fair for them. They have good ones, they have a bad one, they have some people that very like good have been like great through all, and they're performing. And they have people that came from the board, and so they're not even performing. But whatsoever thing that you do on the job side, especially for your country, you got to work with your whole man. And one of the things that have been happening to our country is millions of our brothers and sisters have been going to the country, even those that have been there, majority of them get what they can get for the party. But they are not going to the country first. I said we were talking about the president. Knowing fully, he made a statement that I can see the only thing I can do, you're being able to improve our country. I don't think people are getting and working on the president, they are really be doing good for him. But can we bring the people that are working on the president for them? No, I can say no. If they write a better speech and give it to you, but
A phone breaking in though.
Yeah.
Are you getting me, Mr. Saul?
I think CMC took all the men from start. I must have believed you took the men from.
If the president is getting to be fair to him, they will write a better speech and give it to him. But when the president gets on the stage, he decides to ignore the speech, could we hold them responsible? No. Because now the president finds out making a kind of statement. The first one was in Lopa. The whole nation is getting it wrong with it. If you say that the people of the country are improved, people are enjoying, we know that there are some improvement. But let's look at the percentage of the Liberians getting and enjoying the country. So it's so outside. But those that are working in the government, we pray that he getting to put the country first. Because if you don't put the country first, I think we are headed for the wrong thing. Okay. And my last point here tonight, Mr. Sowell, had to do with the statement that was made by the senator from Grand Judah County. concealing Burkina Faso in one Chile. I think something the government has to do something about it. And these people are coming in, people are bringing them to make farm. They should be able to get there, they know them, but and the people are illegally getting invading the land. I think it's bad for our country. We don't know tomorrow what that may mean and getting Grandinia and getting the Burkina Faso over there. What may mean there tomorrow? Because any class break out there tomorrow, they'll say like you ain't getting fighting the African brother. Thank you for the show, Mr. So.
Thank you. That one there, some of all would talk until people, some of them, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, but
yeah, go ahead, Moses.
Yeah, what I wanted to piggyback off of what Sissy said. One of the things, you see, in Liberia, the question remains: we have an organization, an entity that was created called civil service. What are the duties of civil service agency? That's what we call HR here in many other places and what have you. You have a list of people who have been trained, who are qualified. When a position comes out, those people who have the experiences, they've already listed and they've met the requirement, the vetting process. Then what they did is created another agency, another entity called Lpr. Lpr was created to provide training. So they provide the training, and that result should have been going to civil service, so you can have a list of people that when someone leaves a position, you call the civil service department, this position is open, and let's see if we can find somebody suitable to fit this thing. But you see, when you don't have continuation of services, of departments, you see, let me speak to Mr. David. We're not saying that the people in Liberia are doing bad. What we're saying is that the people that are working needs to owe it to the country, and they need to have a structure of continuation from one administration to the other so that we can continue to make progress. And when Cissy talk about progress report and all of those kind of things, what kind of progress you're making, how do you evaluate those progress that you're making? That's what we need to do, document these things. But we need to pay more attention. And most of our brothers from here that are there, you know, we understand some of the ills that they had to go through. But again, what the caller just said, love for country. And that's what some of us thought and followed Barker, because he said, think Liberia, love Liberia, and rebuild. So with those three, that's his credo. Credo are good. Like Stan Lee said, in all his Superman comic, with great power comes great responsibility. You got power. You should know the responsibility that comes with the power that you have. And you need to adhere to those responsibilities. And I think that's where most of our people are somewhat lacking. And some of us have some bitter taste, but we can't go against the government. We can't go against the country. We've done things to help out from afar, and we've made some connections. But after you speak to these people and something goes down and they're successful, they never talk to you again.
Yeah, this is all try, but maybe my man will know. The way a man role in the government, is he playing the role of Elon Musk in like there, a man Lobo?
Who? Lobo?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I
asked him
because this guy,
MCC.
The minute got us kicked out of EMBC because we were number one. They got us kicked out of EMBC because
or they kick you out. Oh God.
I must say, ask the same questions you asked.
The man got me kick out ENBC. So
I coming from my own party to join. They put a calling me. I better join my own because let our country there. If you not join anything, you on your own.
you better join CNC. They come and go for the network up in Europe.
Well, they're calling me. I'm coming on
They
there.
can't win election, but they can go walk up in Europe. So I need you to go walk up.
Yeah, no, Madame will be there. We coming. We come.
Wow.
Let me say on a serious note. You know, we joke around about Liberia, look, but when you ask about my boy Lobo, and I just laugh because these are people who were here in the diaspora. My brother Lobo had the morning drive. He talk about all the economic policies and everything that need to be changing stuff, and they want to question the people. They get in studio, we hear, we get on, we challenge once or two times, they go run propaganda, they take 1 day for us, take 2 days for us, they take all the days for us. Number one, I'm not even getting paid. But if you expect me to come here and say, thus said the Lord, you got a problem. That means you don't really know me. Right? That means you really don't know me. I would give it to you when you're doing well, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend that you're doing well when you're not doing well. But that comes back to, I think, what my brother Moses was saying. Look, to the caller, if I made it in any way to sound like the folks in Liberia are generally not doing well, that was not what I meant to say. I don't know if I said that, but that was not what I meant to convey. We know people that are doing very good jobs in the government. I know Josiah Jokai, for example, is doing a good job. Even the guy at the EPA is doing a good job. There are plenty of people around are doing some good jobs, right? But when we're talking holistically about the system, when the president of the republic speaks, every word in the sentence he or she speaks carries a message, both spoken and assumed. And the emphasis you place on certain words matter. We can say in many ways that the people are enjoying in Liberia, having jolly. We're all saying they're having jolly.
Yep.
When the former president, we have spoke and said at one point, you were living with your man before I move from there, go back and go live with your own man. There was a point you were trying to make. You didn't just say it the right way. The point was that in Liberia, our family structures are different. We live together in community and we commune.
Yep.
If life is tough, we'll go back to community. But people didn't say it to him that way. It is the same thing we're saying about our current president. There are people that are realizing improvements in their lives. The word enjoyment will not be what I would have told the president if I was advising on how.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that just reminds me, the gentleman said today, or from one thing to another, he said, words, choices, words, there are certain words cannot be used at certain point in time because, people process it, the connotation of it would be perceived differently, even if it was not meant for that reason. But the general perception there say, hey, what you say, this is where we are. Okay. Man.
What comes out of your mouth, because when it comes out, it can't go back in. You got to be very careful, especially when you're heading a country or when you're heading.
But the other thing is, Mr. 1 second, Mr. So. The other thing is that even Moses, his spin masters are not even spinning.
I know. Yeah.
If the president makes some mistakes and uses a word that catches that the public is not happy with, you should have a pulse on the nation. You hear people, the message we're enjoying. They want you to talk about enjoying. How do you walk step that thing and re-explain?
These people do not have the guts. They are all defensive.
No, it's not about the guts, Mr. So I think it's just about people don't understand really how to tactically communicate. There's a tactical communication. There's tactical communication.
That's the key word.
There is technical communication, Mr. So.
Yep.
In my district, my upline has said some things about math education. I wasn't there, didn't ask me. That was in error. And when my teachers tried to get in uproar, I had to walk around there without saying that my upline was wrong. but also recognizing that when people come in where it makes sense and find a way to tactically thread that needle. Nobody's doing it. All they do is to say, y'all move for him, man. Y'all move for him, man. Y'all move for him. That's disrespectful to the people.
You know, when you
So
talk, they refer you, they send you back when George, I don't care. George, you know, so it's this sort of revolving motion that we always get ourselves. And that's why people don't want to learn, because even if they got it wrong, and somebody tried to say, no, this is where it should be, they say no, very defiant, and they're going to stick to their guts because they don't want their how you call it, your Messiah then to go out of job. Wow, gentlemen. Okay, we back here. Mos.
Yes, sir.
So let's wrap up here. What are we taking home this evening? What do you think anybody want to come out to expand, to restructure what the president said, or you either live with A or we just deal with A now, right?
I would hope that someone, a spokesperson or someone like the Minister of Presidential Affairs, someone would come or something. I don't know what pressed. I mean, looking at the spokesperson for the executive mansion also, what's her name? The young lady there. Someone has to and qualify what the president meant, as Sissy was saying, to put this to rest, because people are going to run with this, and in the long run, they're going to hold the administration accountable for that. And all of these mishaps, and no one's saying that every leader should be perfect, but there's certain time when you realize certain things, you should have people around you who will articulate it and try to tailor that.
And we don't know. I think the other versions, African leaders generally,
why you gotta say African?
If I say African leaders, I mean what African leaders? This is what I'm going. Do they really pay attention to? Do they take heed from their advisors? Not only leader, even in our own community, when they are leaders, they are shut up going in the air. They don't listen to people. They don't take any cue. They don't take any advice. Whatever it says, it is why it is. They can't change. Then they see it as a defeat. So what I'm saying here, I'm wondering too, before we blame them, are these people doing their job and the leaders not listening to them too as well? The leaders and say, I am the boss. I'm gonna say what I say, or whether they put these things because that's what I'm asking about speech writers. Because there are certain occasions you have these people have the expertise to curve your message, make a script, create that sort of script, your talking point. This is what the nation will be hoping to say based on, because it's not an automatic thing. Before retreat, there should be some sort of in-house conversation. It's not just wake up one morning to want to have a retreat. And when you are going for a retreat, like Sister said, you need to have some sort of pinch here and there from agency, other autonomous government, things that you're going to piece together that you will present to your nation to give people hope. But when you come and just, if they give it to you and you decide to throw it in your coat left pocket and say, well, I want to say like our man who doesn't care and just say any kind of way, then that's a problem itself. So we don't know.
Well, I know we're getting ready to close, and as we close, I just want to say that, one of the things that is exacerbating the problems in Liberia is that everyone's having a press conference. It amazes me how everybody having press conference. What is this about having press conference?
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, member of the press.
Press, it's amazing. It's amazing. And sometimes I look at these guys and I see the press conferences. I said, is that necessary? Really? Every little thing they have a press conference. And one department will have the press conference, the other department have the other press conference, and contradict what the other department said. Come on now. That's administrative responsibility. They need to tailor their thing correctly.
Yeah.
Everybody can be before the camera or the so-called journalists they have over there. And I think that's one of the things that exacerbated the issue in our country. Because everybody get up and have press conference. And sometimes what they're talking about have nothing to do with their department, with their ministry. So I think, there has to be a structure and a sense of accountability. And people in leadership needs to know, with great powers come great responsibility. And you need to adhere to those responsibilities. But if you don't think you owe it to the people, to the general public, then I don't think you need to be in the position. But you need to put the country first. And I don't want to go back to
And I think, since they come in,
yeah.
I'm not sure whether we really have we have a civil society organization in our country. And that's where all of these things then
You
comes
see,
from.
and
Because you
that's
hear
why.
like people
Let me
stand
say,
out for a cause, for a reason. We don't have
yeah,
people. You have a country, people hungry. So everybody that compromise.
you see the thing about it.
Who gonna show banner off for 2-3 days when a woman, 2-3 children crying, no food to eat, and say,
Yeah,
who you fighting for?
Mr. So sometimes the message is good, but the messenger is not fit for the message. You see, gone are the day when we knew people like Abba Pote, who used to walk around with his mat and his toothbrush, and he used to keep government on their toes.
Rufus Dapo, those
So
people there.
today, we don't have those things. They got a group here called Common Cause. In the U.S., Common Cause is highly respected.
Hey, okay, bring back our money and retire suffering group. Retire suffering now, ambassador. I mean,
Yep.
can you imagine?
That's it. That's it. You see somebody,
The three Hebrew boys.
I know. You need an organization like Common Cause that
Wow.
totally focus on these issues and try to redirect some of the things, the ills that are going on. And we're not compromised for anything. Abapo refused to take a job to shut him up. He was only a journalist.
Look, you ate that money for nothing. You say we come and eat your money. You say we retire suffering. What happened with nothing? Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming with demonstration.
But don't forget when they rented a drawer in Bow, Spoon TV
Yeah.
in live to the brother event to Monrovia.
I know.
What happened?
If Elite, it comes back to my point where we don't see anything to a final logical conclusion.
You guys were great. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Goyle, let's hear from you before we go.
It was a good.
Look, man, look, we joke around a lot, we laugh a lot. I think that bro deserves better. And we keep saying that over and over. But here's the problem I have with we say the president sometimes, sometimes I've given I've given talking points to my boss, and he or she thinks it's not it's not gonna make sense. I'm gonna fold this and I'm gonna ad lib this thing, sometimes make a mistake and come back. We have those conversations. But if it's ever gonna get to a point where I feel like you haven't listened to me in a very long time and you are making decisions that don't align with what I think I came to this job for, I'm gonna quit. But we haven't seen that in Liberia. And so for me, that is why when we start seeing people resign, you don't necessarily can't tell all your dirty laundry what happened you were the president, but we will start to glean from there that there was some difference. You can't stay there and say the president not listening to me, and every advice you give, the president doesn't take it, but you stay there collecting paycheck. Right? Then at that point, we believe that you're giving the president bad advice. But otherwise, you leave. But here's what happens, and I'm going back to this, and I'm not saying all the people in Liberia and government. I want to really clarify that.
Yeah.
But if you know that you have a job prospect, you will not compromise your morality My people who know me must say, God, they know me. I can say I'm in a don't give a F mode. Like what that means is when I say I'm in a don't give a F mode is I don't care if you fire me. The worst thing you do to me is to fire me.
Yep.
But I guarantee you this: in 3 days or less, as a mathematician, I will find a job. So I am going to give you my advice based on my expertise and based on the vision that you hire me for. If you think my vision and yours no longer align, my friend, goodbye. But when you hire people who've never practiced and they're using Liberia as their entry-level job, then it's difficult for them to leave. That's my point I keep making. If the deputy minister position, the minister position, the director position, the person is their entry-level job to administration. That's a problem. So me, I'm calling nobody. I'm just going to say it that way, and that's the reason we have these issues, and that's why people will compromise themselves. That's why we get people from the diaspora. They say, "Oh, the poor king," and then they say they became corrupt. When you're picking from the top of the cream or the bottom of the barrel. That's the question I got to ask anybody who says that. But Liberia deserves better, Mr. So it's nice to see you back here. My brother Moses, again, my deepest condolences to you. I really didn't know, but I too have been dealing with some craziness on the sidelines. But Mr. So, just so you know, for the public to know, your toboggy had 1 week and they expired. EPA can put tag on it, we threw it away.
Don't even go there because this guy, he knows exactly how I want to come. Which EPA? Minnesota EPA or Labrador EPA? I want to see the expiration date on that. I talked to
the thing I'm writing oil already with you see. So it can stay long. So it can stay long. So we threw it
away. EPA threw it out. They came for inspection. That the only thing they check your whole house, that only the toboggy they threw out. You might be joking. When I get there, I think you want your
environmental protection management. They keep that the chocolate, everything.
As nothing.
You see, I see the people here. The people in the mask, in the web coming in, and everything. Quarantine my whole house.
Oh God.
Character.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. We're good to be back here. I believe the Liberal are going to be in 1 o'clock his time to 1 o'clock our time, which would be like I think what 10 something. And I guess tomorrow is what? Tomorrow is Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna come with Tabata tomorrow, but I will see.
At 1 o'clock our time.
No, 1 a.m. our time. Then you'll be arriving. He left Nevada. I think on his flight down to Sacramento.
Oh, okay. Well, brother, so have a good one. That's it.
All right.
I haven't heard from you. We haven't talked yet.
Okay, so and before you guys go, our man. Let me see. I don't want to put this here. Our man, Mr. George. I might most likely I'm doing everything. Hopefully, my voice, everything should stay like this. I think that's Amos George, Pauline George. She will be graduating in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm trying to do everything possible to see we can drag in a whole high strength. Right? We gotta go. We should pay him a visit, and he told us to hold on because he didn't want us to go there twice. I think it's a very really big day, so we'll see. We'll make our own time. Well, that's our Amos George. Yeah, Amos George. He's doing okay, hanging in there. So I want to say congratulations to Pauline George. Graduation Saturday. That this Saturday, 24th, right? This Saturday, this weekend, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Coming in the egg again. Oh Lord.
I just got the word that one of my friends just passed away. We grew up childhood, big brother. Arwin Tate in New Jersey. Just passed away. Arwin. Yep. Edward Tate's brother. His older brother. Minutes ago.
Wow.
So my condolences to the family again. We all part of the family.
Yeah.
His father's
All
funeral.
right, gentlemen, you have a
Wow.
person in
Okay.
this evening. So I have to say I just sent a message to the EPS director in
Oh,
your era,
oh,
and I was told that they didn't take anything out.
Which one was it? The federal? Or because our tri-state, I read here North Dakota, so it was interstate. It was interstate collaboration.
come back. It was interstate operation.
They trying to check the whole house.
All 3 states.
They check the whole house. They didn't see
North
anything.
Dakota was one side.
The one that she put way on her.
North Dakota had one side of the boat. Minnesota had the other side. And the federal government in the middle. I said, they were not easy here, bro.
So what your current went up, the what made everything was frozen? How can it just
No, I think the people who sense, I think because of the tariff, certain things are supposed to have in my heart. I didn't have it. I think that one can get it to what he said away.
Bye, good night. You something else. Good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good night. Good night.
Okay. Okay, well, Most, thank you so much. And I would say congratulations to Pauline George, that's the daughter of our Amos George, right there in Atlanta. She will be graduating this Saturday. By the grace of God, we'll see what happens. But I made a plan to go there to show face and use that time to also meet by George for a very, very long time. So we'll do everything possible to see how we can grace this occasion. Congratulations, Pauline. And to man Ambrose. Ambrose, thank you so much. The Lpr, I'm not sure what year we met. The Lpr told me into the device, but he and I right now, Bamboo is divine color. But that one day we will talk it up. But thank you so much for the contribution. And to those of you stay, well, actually, it's still in the process, and other things came out that we have to honor. We're still receiving contributions in good faith. That is the fund drive of this building. The guys are gradually moving in. Everything takes time, so please, if you still want to reach out to us, the number is there, 682-433-8802. You don't believe, to keep this system on is very, very costly. If I tell you the amount we just paid this even just to even get back here, I won't give myself bad feeling to cry, but I can't do that. It's actually, honestly, this is crazy to keep these things system running. It's very, very, very costly. But we have committed to doing that. And so to those that have contributed to our initiative, we want to say thank you so much. We'll still come out to let you know. Well, as you dig one hole, cover one hole, another hole comes in. While in the process focusing on this, we need to realize that we needed to meet our and what obligations with the servers that we use. Not knowing these people, they are check the price as crazy, but we have to do it. So, thank you so much. So again, if you are having a function, like we say, we always want you to give, but we also want us to serve you things that we do. That way, your money, whatever you give, is given with something in return, in exchange with the kind of service that we'll provide. So you have a specific unions, organizations, or some sort of big memorable event. It doesn't matter where you are. Let us know. When there's no way, we will figure it out. We'll find it out. We will provide you the coverage, we'll provide you the services, and then you pay for it. So you can just only give your money free of charge and just only asking. And this is why we are always, even if you have a business, you can also advertise with us as well. On this note is 10:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Madam Slangat, Marie, good evening. Good to better late than never. We are wrapping up. Look, Lion Tail, I have not heard from you yet. My man Paul, we said, John Heaney, you know, maybe I will call your name insurmountable. I've not heard from you guys yet, so I will call those who have not heard from moving forward. So I know you're gonna come, but hey, if you can't come, then we're gonna go. Morgan's good evening. It's good to have you here. We still need that mediate a long time. So our contribution line is still open, and that's part of it because you see what is happening now. The media is very, very vital to what is happening in the country. If you do not have, and our politicians, they are all creating their network because they want to control the narrative. They do not want the actual story to be told. So again, that's something. Until then, have a pleasant evening. And we say congratulations to our sister. And like I told you, comes Thursday, we're going to be bringing you some full text of her honoring badge and retirement program that was held right here.
President. Assemblée criminelle, who are the West Bobo, then we change my that's a criminal way. Let it do it. Look at when they have their don't do a West Bobo. I'll be a jail. When they get up right away, I'm a there is a solar case. Don't let your way, don't from the way. Who you who is the day my way with you? Ever got so look at your solar like radio. And also, you have